One of the best things about gardening is making your own plants from cuttings, rooting them, doing things. So I have two things that I'm rooting today. Well, one of them's actually already rooted and I'm planting it. That basil. And I'll show you all those beautiful roots and how I did it and how I fixed the soil. What do you do? There are tricks to help those little plants and their little tiny roots. Well, here's the basil after I trimmed it up and put it in the water a few weeks ago. And I just change the water about every 2 to 3 days, add water if it evaporates. And after a couple weeks, you get all these beautiful roots and they're ready to plant up. And they've gotten morning sun and no sun direct afterwards. And I'm just using some expanding soil, which is basically coconut husks. And sometimes they have a little bit of wood particles in there too. And it tells you on the back, you're basically breaking it up a little bit and adding water. It should make 3 quarts. So I have a bucket and I'm just putting it in there, adding some little water at a time, not a huge amount at a time, because I don't want it too soggy. And I just keep breaking it up and breaking it up until I get this kind of fluff. Now, when I go through it, if I still see some hard pieces, that means I need a little bit more water. And so I'm just seeing about how much I have, so I kind of know how much to put in there, because I don't want it soggy. Now, I am going to add a few things to this soil, because I want those roots to be able to just move through the soil as easy as possible. Now, this isn't something I would keep for a long time, but it's a great way to get those plants started. So I'm going to add some vermiculite. Vermiculite will help you retain water and then it'll give it back to the plants. And perlite, which is this white stuff, is actually will really let water flow through the soil and little tiny roots flow through the soil. So it's a great thing to add with your potted plants. And it really just gives them room to grow without really having to work very much. So I always add those two to my container gardening, and it really is successful to do that. So when I mix it up, then I mix it a little bit more. Now I have a container. I had a plant that I got in there. See all those holes in there? I don't want my stuff going out those holes. So I'm just taking a piece of newsprint. You could use paper towel, things like that. And then I'm just going to fill that all the way up so I can plant my basil into that pot. Now I'm just going to take my fingers, make some holes. It's a very messy job. And see how I'm just going to tuck those roots in there. I'm going to press around each plant, trying to get the leaves up above the soil. And I am going to add a little bit more soil. And then pretty soon, I am just doing one after another. I have 4 plants that I'm going to plant in this container that I'm actually going to take back to Wyoming. A little bit more soil, tuck those leaves off to the sides whenever I can, and water. So you always want to give it a good soak. In fact, I'm just going to let it drain on the gravel for a while before I put it in its place. It's fun. You know, you have one plant and you could make literally hundreds of plants to sell, to give away, to plant in your yard. Now today, I'm only making 4 basil plants that I'm taking back to Wyoming. And my elephant food, isn't that a funny name? Elephant food. I guess elephants really eat them. I got 7 of them because I'm giving them away after they root. Because I'm going to take the plant back home. And then I'm going to make some more for all my friends back there too. So if you want one of these elephant ears, let me know. Put it in the comments, send me an email. And when they start to root, I'll wrap them in some wet paper towels and I'll send them in the mail to you. How fun is that? Say hi to everybody. Reagan, say hi. Say hi. Look at all that hair I got out of there. So here is the elephant food plant. And I actually got this from one of my neighbors. She gave me 2 of them. I have one inside and one outside. And they are so easy to propagate. So I'm just going to take my nippers and I'm going to go down 5 inches, 6 inches, whatever works onto that branch. And the nice thing about these, when you cut them to root, it really stimulates that stalk that's on the plant still to send out little branches. And so that is a benefit to your plant anyway. You get new plants, plus it is a benefit. They wants to grow more. So here they are, and I'm just going to take all of those bottom leaves off. Now it is kind of a succulent, so I probably could start the plant from those little leaves, but it is so easy from doing a branch, part of the stalk, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to leave a few of the leaves on the very top, and then I'm going to cut that at a 45-degree angle. And that way it can really have some great root system. Now wherever I took those leaves off, that node will send out roots there. So there they are, and see that cut, 45 degrees? You want a sharp, clean cut. So we're back, and we're going to put soil into the pot. Oh, I forgot my paper, because I do not want all my soil, vermiculite and perlite, to go out the bottom. So I'm going to fill that all up, and I am going to use some rooting hormone today. So there it is. My hands are so messy. Rooting hormone, you can buy that in nurseries, at box stores, in their garden section. It just helps it. Not that I can't do it by itself, but it does help it. So I have that 45-degree angle. If you're not quite 45, it's not rocket science. Now take a knife or your scissors or whatever you have handy and just kind of bruise that outside skin, that outside layer of your plant. Dip it in the rooting hormone and just stick it in there. Now remember, where those nodes are, those are where the roots are going to come out. And I have 7 plants to do, so I don't want to scrape all of that outside off, just a little bit in a few places. And then each one is going to get dipped into the rooting hormone. I know some of you are going to say, don't dip your plant into your bottle of rooting hormone. I do it all the time, and I haven't had a problem. One of these days I will have a problem, and then you go, see, you shouldn't have done it. But I am just going to put all 7 of them in there. And what do you do next? You are always going to give it a good soak. You always want to let it settle down in and get around that plant. So we're back on the gravel. We're going to water it in, and we'll just let it set for a while. Now I'm not going to put these in the 90-degree sun. I'm just going to set them over by the plant. I love that plant. And I love how it makes all those branches. I love the leaf color and the dark stem. The contrast is fabulous. So here is my elephant food, and there's my basil. And we are going to just let those sit on the porch day and night, and I'll get it a little sun. I hope you decide to make more plants out of your regular plants. Now over there, look at all that gravel. The truck dumped it this morning. Joe and I worked for a while. It's 96 degrees out. We're not working outside right now. But we have a plan for tomorrow, because we are old, and moving 8 tons of gravel is not fun. So tomorrow you'll see what our plan is to make it much more easy. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with the world. I am off. I'm going to go see a live stream from one of my friends, and I'm going to put this video together at the same time. I'll see you next time.